My 18 female mother died when I was born and my dad remarried when I was 3. I have a stepsister who's the same age as me and 2 half-siblings. My mum's sister and her wife raised me after my mum died, and I only started living with my dad after he remarried. He often favoured my stepsister and half-siblings. He would routinely miss important things in my life for them, and never did anything with me unless my stepsister was there. My stepmom would also make me watch my siblings and do more chores while my stepsister did almost nothing. As I got older, I started spending more time at my aunt's house, and as soon as I turned 18, I moved in with them. They're pretty wealthy, while my dad is lower middle class. They often buy me things that my dad and stepmom can't afford for their children. My stepsister's always been jealous because I have nicer stuff. Both of us graduated this year. Our graduation ceremony was last Friday and our prom was the Saturday before that. I've been living with my aunts for a few months now. They bought me a pretty expensive prom and hosted an after party which my stepsister was at because my aunt asked me to invite her. They also threw me a graduation party that none of my dad's family came to, even though they were invited. My dad hosted a party for both of us today and asked me to stay the weekend. As I expected, the party was completely about her. I was told that it was for both of us. My dad gave a long speech about how proud he was of my sister. He mentioned me once, but the rest of his speech was completely about her. He went on about how she worked so hard to be a valedictorian and didn't even mention that I graduated summa cum laude. I was visibly upset during dinner, and afterward my stepsister asked me to talk. We went to her room and she started talking about how I've always had things a lot easier than her. She said that it's not fair that I always get the best things and she doesn't. I told her that life isn't always fair and she should be grateful for what she has. My mother is literally dead, and my father loves her more than me, while she has 3 loving parents. She was also mad because I got into a prestigious private university, which is pretty expensive, and my aunts are paying my tuition. She may have been able to go to a similar college, but decided to only apply to our local state school because she knew that was all she could afford. We have basically the same friends circle, and a bunch of us decided to go to Europe this summer. My aunts are paying for me to go, but my dad and stepmom couldn't afford it. She also said that I purposely humiliated her by inviting her to my prom after party so I could show off my fancy dress. Our argument got pretty heated, and I called her a dumb witch and left the party early instead of spending the night. I'm at my aunt's house right now, and my dad and stepmom are calling me and accusing me of making my stepsister cry at her graduation party. Am I the idiot? Edit. Some people are confused about her being valedictorian. At my school, everyone who has a 4.0 plus is considered a valedictorian, and I was the highest ranked student. Not the idiot, your stepsister and your dad, on the other hand. Usually I'm anti-gendered insults, but what an entitled petty little witch. She literally wanted to tell a girl who lost her mother at birth about how she's had life so easy. I love that it also said that her dad and stepmom were calling her, telling her she's an idiot for making her sister cry at her celebration, not their celebration. So seriously, this wasn't even meant for OP to begin with. I think they honestly invited her to belittle her. I'd feel slighted if I were OP, and I'd want nothing more to do with them if they were going to continue to treat me that way. Everyone's the idiot here. Cards on the table here. I think you need to acknowledge that your aunt's financial position has made your life significantly easier than your stepsister's in many ways. Sorry, but it has. You have access to the kind of opportunities and luxuries that she could never dream of. When you leave college, you will have no debt. That's a pretty exceptional thing, especially in the US. Calling her a witch was out of line and felt disproportionate to the situation. Stepsister has 3 loving parents while OP's mother is dead and her own father ignores her existence. For years, OP grew up being excluded and parentified in the family. Sorry, but no, the stepsister is an entitled brat, and the parents are idiots. The beauty of being 18 plus and going off to college is you don't have to associate with them anymore. Love the people who love you back. In this case, obviously your aunts. Let dad and his wife plus perfect family figure their own crap out. Enjoy your trip to Europe. My boyfriend and I were on a plane and there was a small family sitting close by. The kids were young and the parents seemed pretty young as well. As far as kids go, they were pretty well behaved. You could hear the older one talking and the younger one squealing happily from time to time, but nothing irregular or bothersome. My boyfriend just has an issue with being woken up. He's very sensitive to sound and will wake up over anything, then get moody because of it. In this case, he hadn't slept because he was stressed out about missing the flight and was trying to sleep on the plane. The younger kids started making loud, happy kid noises, which woke my boyfriend up. You could hear the parents go, "Shh," and the kids stopped after a couple of seconds. The damage was done. My boyfriend was up and bothered. He started getting mad at me over everything. Like I said, he gets moody as heck, but I'm not the one that woke him up. He took his anger out on me because obviously he can't do anything to the kid. It's not like he did anything wrong. But I snapped after he told me to shut up, like, "Excuse me, I'm your girlfriend, not some random person." I called him a big baby and said that if he got so angry, go yell at the kid. "Right, you won't because you have no courage and would rather crap on me because you're a coward who knows he's being childish." He stopped rolling his eyes at me and being downright rude after that, but it's been a couple of days and he's acting like I did something terrible to him. He even said I went too far and I know how he gets. Besides, apparently, it wasn't that he couldn't yell at the kid, he didn't want to. Yeah, right, but I'll bite. Am I the idiot? Why are you dating someone who refuses to control his emotions and treats you like a punching bag, and who refuses to get noise-cancelling headphones or earplugs when he knows he's sensitive to noise? Because he'd much rather have an excuse to lash out at his regular punching bag. The phrase, "I know how he gets," kinda tells me he's conditioned you into taking some free verbal abuse, and that is not normal. Being rude to you and telling you to shut up because he got woken up by a kid is not normal. You're totally valid for speaking up about him telling you to shut up. I wouldn't put up with that either. Saying he's a big baby, has no nerve and is a coward was unnecessary, but if he got the point across, then oh well. I'm so sick of watching people accept their partner's moods for days on end when they're just a crappy idiot who won't manage their feelings like an adult. How he gets is a BS excuse for treating you like crap. Girl, please find someone who has learned to regulate their emotions without resorting to abusing you. So my 46 male son, 19 birthday was yesterday. A few weeks before his birthday, he and my wife, 48, also his mother, argued over something really petty if I'm honest. This happens a lot. She will find the smallest things to complain to him about. But due to this argument, she refused to plan anything for his birthday. So I started to plan it. Now, before anyone thinks I went and planned a massive party, by plan I mean get him some presents, a cake and make sure we have money for takeout that night. This is what we've done for a while as he stopped wanting parties after 15, and even before then his birthday parties were really just small gatherings with a handful of friends. Now I'm going to be honest here, I don't know much about my son's interests. I know what he's into, but not enough information about specifics to get him anything. But I do know the person that knows him better than anyone is his friend, who I will call Alice, 18 female. So I called Alice and asked her about what kinds of things my son would like as a present. She was immediately able to help me. I know my son loves K-pop, but she was able to show me what albums he would like, and I ended up getting him one that was released very recently. I actually had to pre-order it after we had the phone call from his favourite group, as well as these small picture cards of his favourite member. The conversation somehow also ended up with cakes, and she was also able to help me with what kind of cake is his favourite, and what kind of things to avoid, like buttercream as it makes him feel ill, and I got everything sorted. His birthday came and I made him and everyone breakfast before work, and when I got back we opened presents, ordered food and made the cake. When I say we, I mean my son, my daughters and my mother-in-law who lives with us. My wife seemed upset and didn't join us. She came down to get some food and some cake and take it to our room to eat. When I went to bed, I asked her what was up, and she said she felt like I was trying to upstage her and that our son favours me anyway and I'm not helping. She knows that neither of us knows enough about K-pop to have gotten him stuff to do with his favourite group without help, and I told her I asked Alice for help with a gift and cake. She got upset again and said I was proving her point. She then just went off complaining about how she was excluded, that she didn't like the cake, and that no one had paid any attention to her and had left her out of everything. She kept interrupting me as I tried to apologise, so I just gave up and slept on the sofa. I know my wife and know she can be unreasonable at times, and I'm wondering if I'm the idiot. You're the idiot. Your wife seems very insecure and also a hypocrite. She fought with your son, you made sure your son had a nice birthday, and she's feeling bad because you made sure your son had a nice birthday? Also, making the day of your son's birthday about her? Seriously? You're not the one who needs to apologise. Your wife is acting like a child, OP. and my heart breaks for son to have to deal with her. Your wife wanted to cancel any celebration of your son's birthday because they had an argument? Either it was a very, very, very big deal argument, or she's very vindictive. I do wonder what the argument was about, and in general, I'm always a bit disappointed in parents who are unhappy if something good happens to their kids. My wife's earbuds have gone missing and she thinks our son took them. He says he didn't, and when he showed some proof, she accused him of editing it and then ignoring him when he said he can't edit what he showed her. She still hasn't found them and thinks he still has them. So, your wife is accusing your son of being a thief because she can't keep track of her own property. Then, when shown proof that he's not a thief, she decides to discount that and is continuing to do so. In order to punish the crime that only she and the voices in her head believe her son committed, she decided he doesn't get to have anything for his birthday. She is now in a snit because you made his birthday special when she wanted it to be as miserable as she is. Did I miss anything? Your wife is an idiot. Yeah, what country are you in that allows you to be married to a toddler? The birthday was shockingly about your son and not about Mrs. I won't admit I'm wrong and want everything to be about me. She's manipulating you into apologizing for something that doesn't warrant an apology by making you feel bad. Instead of accepting the apology, she kept trying to hammer the point home that you're wrong because if she paused in her monologue for even a second, you might realize that she's being selfish and awful. OMG. My thoughts by the end were, when's the divorce? Hope he is a frigging saint for staying with his wife this long. Perhaps invite Alice for a film night or something to say thanks. She should really have been invited to the birthday thing, but a film night will do, especially if you make sure to get her favourite snacks and food. Years ago, I was married to a close friend. We were roommates, adopted a dog together, and lived together since college until our mid-late 20s, married at 24 and 25. However, we were never actually romantically involved. She wasn't interested in marriage and also questioned her orientation at the time, but her family was ultra-traditional and messy for many other reasons and kept pushing for her to settle down. I'd just gotten out of a rough long-term relationship and we'd kind of just said screw it, we were living like a married couple, let's get married for convenience. So we did the paperwork for it, but we never had a wedding. We were also never romantically involved. She wasn't my type and I wasn't hers. My family knew she wasn't my wife in the traditional sense, they did heavily disapprove though. When I started getting back into the dating scene, we split up and legally divorced. She remains one of my close friends to this very day and I care for her a lot. It's been a few years and I'm now 32 with a lovely fiancée who I cannot wait to marry. However, ever since I announced the engagement, my family has been making weird comments such as, "Oh, so Roxy's, my dog, is getting a new stepmom. Wife number 2 at 32, huh? That's a lot of wives for your age. Let's hope this second one lasts." It makes both me and my fiancée uncomfortable. I keep on saying that my close friend wasn't really my wife in the traditional sense. Still, my family brushes me off by saying that they're just joking, or she's technically my second wife anyway, hence it's not like they're wrong. Today at breakfast though, I blew up at them and called them disrespectful and rude for belittling my relationship. My mom and my sister both said that if I didn't want to hear these statements, I shouldn't have married my close friend. I threatened to not invite them to the wedding and now things are super tense. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I mean, technically they are correct, she is your second wife, so I guess you are a slight idiot if I only look at the title. However, if their comments make you and your wife uncomfortable and you've asked them multiple times to stop, then they are the bigger idiots for continuing. Right? I was once making jokes to my partner that I thought were harmless, but he made a grimace, so I asked him why, and he said my words hurt him a little. I immediately dropped my smile, apologised, and reassured him that it wasn't my intention to hurt him and that I thought I was laughing with him, not at him. I apologised again and haven't commented on that topic since, obviously because I love him and care about his well-being. If they continue despite OP saying it's hurtful, they're idiots. I disagree, you are the idiot. Technically it is your second marriage. You were legally married. You live with the person you were married to. It did count in a court of law. You're going to have a second wife. Pretending it didn't doesn't change that fact. You got married for the wrong reasons, kind of making a mockery out of the system. Some people would heavily disapprove of that choice. especially when some people who actually love one another cannot get married for a variety of reasons. Update: I have to answer some common questions. Why I married my close friends. Health insurance mostly, but also because they kept holding her tuition over her head. We were both in grad school at the time. She was gunning for a PhD and I was going for a master's, but I had a job in an energy commission with some benefits. They'd always tell her that they'd stop sending her money, or some months when the arguing was bad, not send her money at all. They used money to punish her, basically. She had a lot of health issues at the time that she couldn't get help for, like chronic pain and wisdom teeth, that really needed to be removed, alongside some other personal issues. So getting married got them off her back about her identity, got her on my health insurance plan, and got them to be more consistent on sending tuition money for her. There were a few other things too, like how they kept setting up potential arranged marriages for her, or threatening to take her home to their country. There was also a time when they threatened to commit her to a mental health facility. I don't know, it was complicated, but it was something that worked for us. I was able to pay for her treatment and let her use my money for herself. She has now graduated and is financially stable. To my knowledge, she no longer speaks with most of her family. She's doing fantastic for herself and I'm so damn proud of her. My fiancé knows about my past marriage and has no issue with it. I met her through my close friend, actually as a mutual of a mutual. At the time, I was already split from my close friend, and while she was initially confused, my close friend and I sat her down and explained things as clearly as possible. She understands why we did what we did. I was always 100% transparent with my family about my marriage to my close friend. My family understood that I went through a rough relationship before my marriage. My mom's exact words then were, "I won't force you to do anything, but I'm really disappointed that you take marriage so lightly." They understood that I married my close friend to help her, but I also got the slight impression that they figured everything would sort itself out with our marriage, i.e. I would fall in love with her or something. When I met my fiancé, I told them how it was a big deal to me that it was my first genuine, supportive romantic relationship in a long time. They all seemed happy for me at the time, and no comments like these came up. They told me they were glad I was able to find love again. It was only when we announced the engagement that these comments started. Wow, that is insanely sweet of you. You really went above and beyond for her. You are a saint and you were there for your friend when she needed the help most. I'm sorry all the conservatives came out of the woodwork to, well, technically, but you did the right thing. It's just a joke, it's a BS cop-out. They know it. They just want to be crazy to you and expect you and your fiancé to deal with it. After you cool down, I'd pick a family member you really want to preserve the relationship with and talk to them one-on-one. Give them a chance to pull their head out of their butts, but make it clear that this is a hill you will die on. You are not going to subject your fiancé to them. Best of luck.